Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Dawaz with the latest roundup of sports. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. Pakistan is all set to face New Zealand in the fourth T20 International at Christchurch tomorrow. New Zealand already have an unassailable 3-0 lead in the series. But I think apart from the discussion of the game, it's about problems with Pakistan that now transcend to batting, bowling and fielding. So, there is consistency with the problems at least. But on the other end, PCB is also marred with all sorts of problems as well. So, I mean, a situation like this 5 months before the World Cup is certainly something that we are used to as a cricketing fraternity. But the fact is that, why I keep on mentioning this again and again, and, it's become so monotonous now. And now to discuss things further in studios, first of all, we've been joined by our sports expert, cricket commentator, broadcaster and presenter K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam, I'm perfect, Ahmed.
Great to have you on the show. We've also been joined by our sports expert and somebody who's analysing the game in detail and also the performances as well, Mr. Rizwan Haider. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, sir?
Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed, thank you.
Great to have you. And we've also been joined by a cricket expert and first-class cricketer Kashif Majid. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, sir?
Thank you. Welcome.
Great to have you as well on the show. All right, of course, gentlemen, starting off the discussion in detail. Asif, first of all, this is the fourth T20, but the series is done and dusted. So now I think all that argument might be put to rest where Pakistan can play whoever they want, however they want. But, it's not about, like I said yesterday as well, that it's not about that you've lost. It's about how you are able to defend some of your decisions when you come out as a skipper or as a team management. And that factor has really been disappointing.
Well, Ahmed, as I said yesterday, that the results in bilateral series, we don't talk about that. I mean, it does not matter. The issue is that your intent, the intent which you are coming, you're showing that the same in your interest. You said that the Pakistan is struggling in bowling, in batting, in all the departments, even in fielding as well. And I think that the management of the team and the think tank, they haven't prepared well. And they are not executing in the team meetings. They're not giving the good plan, or might be the team management aren't able to tell the team that these are the problems with the New Zealand side, and you would have to focus on there. But on the other side, I'll talk about the management of New Zealand side, that they are coming up with the same plan and the execution perfect from the New Zealand batters, their bowlers and their fielders, of course. So now the problem is that either we're coming with the new faces, with the new players, with the new lads. There's the question, will Sahibzada Farhan will play, and same with the Hasibullah, or we are going with the same side and we're giving more chances to Azam Khan and Saim Ayub. But another question that the rest of the team talk about Rizwan, talk about Fakhr Zaman, talk about Iftikhar. Even they're not performing well with the bat. Yes, Fakhr Zaman in an innings he scored 50. That was good, but we required consistency. So I think that distraction from the skipper, we removed our skipper Babar Azam, and we're given the responsibility to the Shaheen Shah Afridi, who belongs to Lahore Qalandars. And we thought that the skipper is the problem. The skipper wasn't the root cause for the defeats of Pakistan. This is what we have to understand.
I think it never is. It's an argument that is beyond saving right now. I think that's always been the case. But Rizwan, how would you analyze tomorrow's game now? Of course, Pakistan would want at least face saving in this series, or shouldn't they even try?
Well, before I go into tomorrow's game, I'd like to agree with Asif for a change. That yes, skipper is probably not the reason that Pakistan has lost, because every time if you're going to make the same mistakes that Babar was doing, that means that the strategy is flawed. Babar was scared of batting first, winning the toss, and we've seen that with Shaheen Afridi in the World Cup. We saw Babar was every time we won the toss, we decided to let the other team have a bat first, even on good tracks. And in test matches and one days and T20s, you get good batting tracks, and the team wants to take advantage batting first of the conditions, putting runs on the board, and make sure that you're able to defend and put pressure on the other team with a huge total. So Pakistan seems to be scared of batting first, and with the changing skipper from Babar to Shaheen, nothing seems to have changed. And I think the problem with which Ahmed identified at the start of the program was with batting, fielding, and bowling. But I think he also misunderstood and did not use the word that the fitness is an issue as well. Team management and team strategy. The think tank is not doing its job. It's very easy to say, okay, even in the fourth game, if you win the toss, you put the other team in. And I've said that before as well. If you win 50% of the tosses and you let the other team bat first, in the other 50%, if the other team wins the toss, they're also going to bat first. So you don't have a strategy. You're just seeing what the other team does and trying to do the same. Batting first, you have no clue what score to put on the board. You lose 5 overs in the 20-over match just trying to think that it's a 140 wicket or a 180 wicket. And if that is going to be the strategy, then we should say goodbye to the World Cup now, which is going to happen in June, and start preparing for the Champions Trophy.
Well, obviously, I think that should be on the card as well, the T20 World Cup and the Champions Trophy. But I'm sure Rizwan mentions a very particular point about fitness. But, once the PCB doesn't consider it to be a problem in the past 2 years, how can I see it as a problem? So I'm just trying to, shy away from something that is non-existent in the minds of many right now, because I agree, because I think a lot of people are missing out on the opinion that we need to be talking about this particular scenario where it's not just one particular individual, but majority of the team is struggling with injuries and fitness and everything going on. Kashif, all of these things are in jeopardy right now, including, like I said, that the skipper, but we realize that this system and everything needs to be given more time. The problem right now is nobody's sure what's going to happen on 5th of February if there is no extension in the mandate of the cricket committee. What happens then?
I guess that is the root cause, because when the board is not stable enough, the decisions are not stable enough, then we came to that conclusion. There is no policy for that matter. There is no system in place. Everybody's thinking that this series will be their last. So who we are talking to then where is the board and where is the management of the team? But having said all those things, let's find out what's missing within that rope, within that boundary line. Starting from 2006 onwards, Ahmed, if you can agree, we always bank on our spinners. There is one Omar goal for that change till 2010 or 2012. There is one Omar goal, and it's exceptional spin quality of Pakistan. We can talk about Saeed Ajmal, there is Afridi, then we have got Raza Hassan, Abdur Rahman, Muhammad Hafiz, and this is it. So the moment we finishes the first 6 overs, till the very last overboard, it's always Pakistan in the game. We've been that side who have created top 3 wicket takers in T20 for around 6-7 initial years, and that is now not the case in the current setup. We haven't got a single bowler who can bowl a position out in a batting friendly wicket or even in a bowling friendly conditions. For that change, you have seen Haris Rauf taking those 5 wickets in the last 2 overs or 3 overs. Zaman is also someone who is a bowler who can bowl a depth. In the depth is a bowler who can bowl the Yorkers and all those slow ones. So 2 bowlers out of the contention. Then we haven't got a single quality spinner. Nawaz, let's not talk about him. So again, Shaheen Shah Afridi, either he will get a wicket in the very first over and he will get no wicket at all. So batsman wins you matches. It's the bowler who wins you series or the tournaments. So talking about Pakistan, for me growing up in this part of the world, it's always our bowler. We are proud history. We have got a very proud history of creating or making some very extraordinary bowling and some very extraordinary bowlers. And if we want to win any match in T20 or any format, it has to be our bowlers. But eventually it's not happening, and 3-0 is just it's just the start.
Well, for them particularly, Kashif, it's very important to understand that immediately after this, Most of them are going for the ILT20. Asif just told me today that NOCs for BPL have also been issued. You know, they're going to be scattering all over the place to play some of these international leagues, ball a couple of overs, perform there, and mentally think that they're back in the game.
I still don't believe. Okay, let's dissect franchise cricket for that matter. Anywhere in the world, if franchise cricket is happening, that means 7 out of 11, 7 out of playing 11 will belong to that country. For instance, if we talk about Bangladesh Premier League, we are talking about this. Bangladesh is at 9th or 10th spot in ICC rankings of T20 most probably. And then they're coming out with a franchise league where 7 players of 10th ranked team will be playing in the final 11. So this is the criteria, you can say, or this is the standard of the cricket where Pakistanis are playing. So let's go back to my answer, the start of my answer. How many of the Pakistanis are playing in Big Bash League? How many are playing in South African League? How many? I know for those South African League, because this is Indian investment. They are not they do not want Pakistani players to be there. But let's talk about Australia then. How many are playing? Any batsman for the who have played in this Australian League in the last 10 years, most probably Shoaib Malik. That's it, I guess. That it is. Then we talk about the bowlers. So Haris Rauf is playing because they have a MOU signed with the Lahore Qalandars, and that is it. So what else then? What we are talking about? We do talk about Pakistan, that they are playing leagues and they want NOC, but the quality of the leagues we have to identify as a cricketing nation or cricket board, the quality of those leagues. I don't want to say a word, but Azam Khan hitting some quality innings in Caribbean doesn't mean that he is qualified enough to play for the Pakistan against Australia or against New Zealand in New Zealand. So we have to come up with a conclusion, a sane conclusion, that franchise cricket around the globe haven't got that quality which international cricket has still have got.
Asif,
let
yes,
me
yes,
cut
please.
you off, Kashif. You're absolutely wrong. I think franchise cricket is the way forward. And Azam Khan deserves to be in the team. You can see from his fitness and how good he is.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Yes.
you are right.
I think the fact is that after that performance, they automatically considered that, oh, where half of the World Cup is in the West Indies. So maybe I think this is the way forward. But we've been right before. So maybe we'll be right again.
Well, let me
Asif,
give you an
yes.
example,
Yes,
that
please.
could anybody tell me that where is Hasnan, Mohammad Hasnan? He bowled really well for Quetta Gladiators in 2019. And the people who are sitting over the TV, the cricket analysts, experts, and some of the journalists they were talking about that the Hasnan is a perfect choice for Pakistan team. We brought him in our national side against Australia. I was in Sharjah when he bowled 4 overs. He was, to be very honest, he was tired, and when he was standing beside the ropes, I have spoken to my friend that this is our big mistake that we brought him in international cricket. Now where is he? So what Kashif is saying, and as Rizwan Bhai was making a mockery, and of course that we're enjoying this. See, this is not the way that you're bringing your players into the international cricket. Yes, Azam Khan, talk of the town, everyone is talking about, and still people are supporting him. I don't know what's the reason. We do not have any personal issues with Azam Khan. We really respect him, and we wish that he could play better for Pakistan. But you have given him 5-6 chances right before this. And I have asked this question to Mohammad Wasim when he was chief selector. He said that we brought him because he performed really well in national T20. And then I've asked this question, then why not Kamran Ghulam? He was performing so well in domestic cricket, in Qaeda-e-Azam Trophy, but you didn't give him chance. So that's the question, that, and it happens in Pakistan. If you have strong relationships, if you have strong friendships, if you have good roots in PCB, then you'll get chance. And this is the problem.
But Asif, you mentioned Hasnan, even Ihsanullah, even Anwar Ali. I can talk about it. Why is it that every time a bowler goes to the National High Performance Center or the NCA, they get injured? Why is it that?
Yeah, why I have taken this name, because that I do remember Quetta Gladiators won Pakistan Super League, that edition 2019, and immediately the people they have started talking about Hasnan, that bring him into the national side.
So our obsession with pace, our romance and obsession with pace, I think
Ahmed,
that's it.
Can I add something statistical?
Yes.
Just going through some statistics, I found out that just leave out IPL for that matter. Every league, every franchise league, if we add those numbers, 73% of the players playing in those franchise league are not current international cricketers. So, if someone is performing quality, he's performing quality innings, or he's taking wickets, that is against the 27% of the current international cricketers.
Right.
So if we are considering that performance of franchise cricket to be, for that player to be part of the Pakistani lineup, he's actually just 27% of the international cricket.
But Rizwan, I mean, Babar is at 3, Rizwan is at number 4 in the rankings. Who cares? I mean, everything is going absolutely as we want.
I'll agree with both of them, both of my friends.
Just for a change.
For a change. I am today agreeing with everything. I think the importance of international cricket, we have something else in our minds. We think Test cricket is the most important, and then T20, one international, and then T20. But for these players, I think it's all about money. How much money you can bring in a couple of years as quickly as possible. And the greed has taken over the game. For me, if somebody says that due to workload management, I'm not playing the Sydney Test like Shaheen Afridi did, and suddenly you're ready to play ILT and BLT and Multan League and Chakwal League, then it's just very, very sad. It's sad for international cricket, it's sad for Pakistan.
I might just add Brian Lara, one of the greatest that we've seen in Test cricket yesterday, just made a huge argument of cricket now moving on from the big 3 to nations, where he even said Pakistan, West Indies, Bangladesh, they need to be playing more Test cricket. So, I mean, some of the greats are still prioritizing. If there was any structure of leagues or league players that have been produced, I think the West Indies have produced the most of them. But still, when I look at their current squad that is playing in Australia, I see a lot of dedication for some of these youngsters to play Test cricket. While if we ask, I think, 10 youngsters in our part of the world, Asif, I'm sure, and Rizwan and Kashif, everybody would agree. I think that 8 or 7 out of them would say we want to play T20 franchise cricket. Simple as that.
Ahmed, what you have said in our program, and that some of the under-19 players, they were calling you and asking you some, context in Pakistan Junior League. So this is their motto now, to play leagues, to earn money. And of course that we don't criticize that if you're not. But nationalism comes first. If you're not playing for Pakistan, if you're not performing for Pakistan, and right before the show, Rizwan Bhai was talking about Shaheen Shah's, Afridi's, when he stepped down for the 3rd test, and he, what he said that the workload management. So why you are playing ILT then? Why you're playing the rest of the leagues?
We can talk about the great 2 Ws. We can talk about any of our bowlers. They had probably bowled more overs in 1 year than all of these bowlers combined, and they didn't break down to workload management. So I wouldn't buy that argument. But Kashif, Rizwan and Asif, thank you very much for joining us. Before we go, we've got to tell you that the World Cup the Olympic qualifiers, in fact, for hockey are also underway. Pakistan play their 3rd match against Malaysia, and it's a must-win game for Pakistan if they want to make it to the Olympics in Muscat. And of course, out of all of these qualifiers, 3 teams are going to be qualifying for the Olympics next year in Paris. So hopefully we can score victory there and make our way into the Olympics, because it's been a while since Pakistan's been missing out on that. So obviously a lot of best wishes and prayers for the hockey team in green, and obviously hoping for a victory. That wraps it up for me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.